Brock Akil, creator, director, writer of Forever, Karen Pittman, star of Forever. Thank you so much for being here. We've been sitting here for a few minutes getting to talk already, which has been lovely. Yeah. I mean, Mara, you were saying before we were starting that it's not just the journey of making the show for you, but the two of you together. There's a journey you've been on together. And so what is that journey? How long have you known each other? How was this a journey to get to this point?
I remember the day I saw Karen Pittman.
Here we go.
I remember
walking.
I was in the cafeteria at Northwestern, one of the cafeterias.
She loves this story.
And there's a chance for you to sit with your friends, sit with your friend group. And I was at the black table, and and mostly the rest of the world was white, and so it's like that. But this black girl walks through the cafeteria, shoulders back, head up. I was like, the posture, and she just felt like she was in her own orbit. I wondered if she was gonna sit with us. Like, where was she gonna sit? And I actually don't even remember where you sat, to be honest with you. I just remembered, who is that? Who is she? And we got to know each other very quickly after that as students at Northwestern. But I remember her light. I remember how you moved in the room. And it's funny to remember that so viscerally, you know what I'm saying? And we become friends throughout. We've gone through a lot together, marriages, kids, careers, dreams, houses, moves. And I just love her. I'm inspired by her. And so wanting her to win in her career, she wants me to win in mine. And then just this one fateful day that I was just like, we just really wanted to see Usher before he got out of Vegas. And I was like, who do I want to experience Usher with? And I was like, Karen, I got some tickets. Shout out to Chris Chambers. I got some tickets.
Shout out Chris Chambers.
And we just paused our busy lives and flew into the city to be friends.
Yeah.
And it was like a slumber party that night.
It was the last show of Usher.
It was the last, yeah.
And it was an extraordinary time just to connect as friends and as people who'd known each other for a long time. And as she said, we, know each other's partners, we know each other's children, had spent many decades coming in and out of each other's lives, but had in recent years connected in a significant way.
No, we're anchoring this. This is not going anywhere.
And opened, up this opportunity. And as we were sitting there, post-Usher, in the post-Usher glow, she started talking to me about this new project, this incredible project that she was really excited about. And we started talking about a role in it. And sure, you guys looked at a bunch of actresses.
No, we did. You have to do that. As a professional, you have to take a moment and see who's out there, who's right for the part, read the script, but I knew it was Karen. The challenge is that Karen is very busy. And,
good problem to have.
And it was interesting. I actually didn't even know that she was available. So even me broaching it was like, I have no idea, and I'm not going to know unless I ask. And as a friend, I was just like, I just would love for her to be a part of this. She's just an incredible actress. And I know she comes to the work serving the work. Who, as a showrunner, as a creator, who wouldn't want that talent on your set? Yeah. And helping to lead. And I also knew that as we were building the show, wanting to find young talent and then really new talent. Michael is brand new. And would know that wanting veteran actors to mother, parent, father the cast around that was a part of it. Regina and I even talked about that. Regina King, who's the pilot director, who's been a mother too, and to know her story also so intimately. Not to say that she's Dawn, but I know she's a mother. She understands the instinct.
Yeah, a unique window into what that experience is like, and she brought that into the room. And I also think, I had not had the experience of working on a show that was literally about African-American families in a very specific time since I worked on a Netflix show called Luke Cage. And I was very lucky to work with Alfre Woodard on that show. And I remember one day being in the makeup room, Alfre was there, and LaTanya Richardson Jackson was there, and they took such a beautiful role in guiding a lot of us as women on that show. And I learned so much watching Alfre, not just on camera, but also behind the scenes. You know, baby, come on over here. Let me tell y'all something. This is whatever Alfre was saying. I was eating
Don't
it up.
be, yeah, everyone circles around. You don't want to miss a word.
She's talking about, right? And
you got to bring her in forever.
I just remember it being going on the set of Forever, and being like, oh, I know what to do in this role because of what Alfre offered me. And what I didn't know, I was being taught a lesson at that point. It's just part of this whole, not sort of magical oracle type thinking, but just knowing that I came to this experience in a very genuine, intentional way, and that I had a certain level of preparation that I wasn't even aware of because of the experiences that I had had, because of the Black women that I had worked with before, the Black actresses. Because of all of that, I knew, I can bring this to Michael. You know, I can have fluency with Wood Harris, who plays Dawn's husband on the show, and support this cast, support this crew, support this storyteller, support this story.
Well, I want to support this actress.
Yeah.
I mean, I love her work. I love what she does, but I wanted to give her something more to eat. And I wanted, that's a playful idea, right? Ooh, I want to throw you, it's like playing tennis. I want to throw you this ball and she's going to hit it back. Oh, okay, I got this back. She's going to hit it back.
Right.
And that's, with all, and to bring that's exciting. That's energy. That's built in the show, that's being felt to the viewer. All that energy is because we don't make the art for ourselves. This is an art form that is meant to be shared. And one of our friend moments is that we both endeavor to be on the biggest stage. Oh, yeah. We wanted to be able to walk on that stage, Netflix, global platform, to talk about the stories that were meaningful to us and to express them at that level for what all artists want, to endeavor and to penetrate the human condition, the human heart, the human experience. That's what art does, right? It allows us to see ourselves in all kinds of ways through other people, through other lenses, through understanding. And that was exciting to sort of put that on, and I knew she was going to eat it up.
Well, because thank you, baby. Thank you, baby. I think this was a unique opportunity, though, because Mara and I do know Dawn Edwards very intimately. We know we know a lot of Dawn Edwards. My name is Mara Brock Akil, and I am a former Dawn. Right. It's that woman that we know and we cherish, and we want to elevate, give a nuanced portrayal, because at first Dawn is quite entertaining, right? You want to have characters that are interesting to watch and compelling, but also you do, as Mara was saying, you want these characters to penetrate into the audience's
psyche, heart.
Exactly, heart, psyche, all the biggest words, you can use. And now that we're post-premiere, the show having come out, it's a very different experience as an actor, as being part of a collaborative team, because people have felt so emotional. Ooh. I mean, the women and I try to stay off social media because it can't, as someone who really does want to hear what people have to say, it does pull you out of it's very distracting. But I can't not. Like, there are hundreds of people who want to have a conversation about this show, about Dawn. It's about their personal people crying on social media about it. It's such a
it's such a moment. That's when I really believe in the destiny of things and God. To know me, I'm going to talk about God, and I love. As a creative, as a creator, that is we're here to do, is to make, is to endeavor to co-create with God. And I think as a writer, which part of the ride that I love, I've been at this for a minute, and people keep asking, how are you doing it? But when you sit to create, you're met with that energy and with that sense of source. I think that's my experience in my career, is that I sit there to say and be in conversation with and pour all of that into it. But just the destiny of this moment, I think you also can deliver something for a time, for a period of time. And I think the collective cry has been cathartic. I think one of the comments that I find very interesting is that a lot of the Black viewers are saying, oh my God, just when they say no trauma, no this, but at every turn, they thought something bad was gonna happen. They thought something bad, like the moment where Dawn is very upset about him taking the car out. She's aware of the pitfalls and the potholes and the dangers that are out there for her son. So it's better to keep him in that beautiful house, to let him outside, right? But the dad says he's got to figure out how to go out there and do it, and he does it, but Dawn wasn't wrong. The cops are hovering and swarming around our babies, and I think, but that scene, I've heard that people are like, oh my God, nothing happened.
They're anticipating
But what
that.
the cry to me is about is that it can happen. And the other part of the cry that is joyful is that we also know that our humanness, our Blackness, because we wear these skins and we wear this history and we wear this pain, we've only here for the joy. And we know that the joy is ours to have. And I think the collective cry is that, oh, there's joy. That there's actually, the kids graduated, love is found,
Yep.
sex is healthy, food is on the table, houses have lights. You mean both love is all around in all its different forms. And that's what we know is true. Like when they hear this term, the ancestors, our dreams already been bought and paid for, that is the expectation of that. And a lot of Black people are living that life, but what is portrayed back to them is often the terror, the constant terror and reminder of the danger. We know the danger, but we also know the joy, and is someone gonna mirror it back to us? And I think this is what the show did, and I think that's what the crying is about. It's both acknowledging the danger and acknowledging the joy.
Well, and the fact that all these things happen for Dawn, who is the parent in a show that's about teenagers, and there's so many different versions we've had in teen shows of the parents and getting in the way and wanting what's best for them and being a nag or anything. And Dawn is experiencing the joy and the fear and being, a wife and having this life and hanging out in Martha's Vineyard with her friends. Like, there's so many dynamics to that. So it's like you wanted to give this role to your friend, but also portray that aspect of motherhood as being a full person.
I wanted to say that, just real quick, I wanted to give it to who is best for the role, and she happens to also be my friend, and we were able to hatch that idea in slowing down. So I just want to say that because we really did look at the body. There's amazing actresses out there, and so I just want to say that. But on the Dawn front, she does go through a lot. She holds a lot, and it's interesting, the Martha's Vineyard of it all. It's like even when Eric says, we need vacation, Dawn. We know that she gets 2 weeks of letting herself go, because for the rest of the year, she's just trying to control all environments so that her husband comes home happy and successful, that her kids come home happy and successful. And but it is being parented out of that catastrophic fear of what can also happen. And I think she is something worthy of looking at, that she's flawed in the way that she parents only because it's rooted. There is fear in that parenting, and she's even aware of it and can't help herself.
And I want to go back to that conversation about actors getting into roles and opening up, because Mara and I have really talked about years, like, what can we do together? Like, is there something we could do together? And it took us a while, not just because I was busy, because Mara's busy. She's doing a lot of projects as well, to find that one moment, one role, the one story that we thought, oh, this is this it? Do you know what I mean? This could be actually it. And then there was a whole set of other circumstances, business-wise, that we had to discuss and talk to and get over. And then we had to discuss scheduling and timing. And
that was rough.
It was very rough. It wasn't like it was a given. And there was a conversation that I had with Mara. I remember saying to her, listen, if this doesn't work out, I want you to know that I support you in this story that you're telling, because number one, I'm going to get emotional. I'm not going to get emotional. Number one, we're friends.
Okay, you're
100%. We are 100% friends.
I remember I was in the driveway having this conversation with you.
If this doesn't happen in this moment, and what a gift now looking back on that a year later, you know, this actor that she found, and they cultivated his growth and this development in this performance, Michael, working with Wood, seeing how the audiences felt about it, all of the love this show is getting. It really is just, it's so powerful for me as an actor to just be reminded to lean into the intentionality of these choices, but into the risk. There was real risk for me as an actor. There was a lot going on personally for me at the time. I see Dawn as a unique character in my body of work. She is life force energy. And I think you can feel Mara's life force energy in this character, and mine too. And the force, the divine feminine, if I can go there, energy of all of the women who worked on this show, including Erica and Regina and Raina and Susie, and like just there's so many women, Shauna, and Zosha and Lovey, and all of us who were just decided that we were going to put our life, Sarah. We go through all the women, all of the energy that we had, you know, sort of manifests greatly in Dawn, but also in all of the characters. We're an ensemble on this show, and I have worked on a lot of really great, important shows that have ensembles in them. First season, they wanted to do something very different, wanted to do something original, like Mara has proposed. And I just, in my mind as an actor, I thought I'm uniquely skilled in this way to help this show be what it could be, all that it could be, do you know? And I thought I really had a lot to offer, and I feel
the timing.
The timing.
I think that's a lot of times too, like the timing of the time where we are in the world collectively.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's interesting. I set the show in 2018 when at that time between Trayvon Martin's murder and George Floyd's murder, I felt like black people felt alone, that we were screaming in a vacuum to each other. Our terror, our fears, our concerns were collectively our own, and we were hoping that others would hear us and help. I think we now know in 2025, we're all collectively screaming into a thing. And I think the only way out is love. The only way out is joy. The only way out is community. The only way out is family, like real communication. We got to get real now. You know, just like Justin and Keisha had to get real, these families have to get real about what's important. And there's going to be some complications in that communication, but ultimately I think if we keep going that way, we'll get there. I think that is what I think also just the reflection of story can be on the granular level, like, oh, I feel like I'm a Dawn, or I feel like I'm a Justin, I'm a Keisha, I'm an Eric, I'm a Shelley. But like collectively, I hope this show is also about the American dream. And where are we in it? And how, you know, and then as it reflects and bounces off of all communities, like where are we collectively, we're all on the same page. I know, you don't have to even tell me, I already know everybody wants their kids safe. Everybody wants their kids to have love. Everybody wants their kids to have a future. I also know we as adults still want to feel that kind of love. We still want to feel somebody holding our hand, and that feels just that special. Kiss on the foreheads.
Yes,
and you know, just the tenderness, the excitement to see somebody, the joy in seeing somebody. Like we still want that collectively, no matter what our age is.
But you know, Mara, that's such a unique perspective, and definitely one of the main reasons that I wanted to do this show with Mara is this unique perspective, this unique filter that she sees the world through, which I think is very Black.
Yeah.
It's very female. It's about love. And I don't think that we have seen that perspective on family, on Black relationships. Thank God for all the wonderful creatives who talked about family and relationship and in Black culture. But we've never seen a woman's perspective on it, and never seen Mara's at this
Scale.
stage. Yeah, at this scale. She's talked about it in The Game and
All of them.
in Being Mary Jane and
Girlfriends and Love Is.
girlfriends, love and relationships. But this is a very, I don't know, I just think this is such a special manifestation of your creative perspective. And
It takes time, and that's a privilege.
it does take time to
be
develop
alive
and-
this
yeah,
long.
Yeah.
Like time in your career to get to the point where you can make this show.
Time, yeah. It's time.
Yeah.
Resources. Let's talk about it. I want to talk about Netflix for a second.
Yeah.
You know, to hear me and to be very clear about a singular vision and to be supported in that. It takes time, it takes resources, and it takes advocacy, and I had it. It took a minute. Sometimes you have to massage through that. But what I was very clear about from the beginning and the onset is that they wanted this story. And they wanted to do it. They bought into the vision. And that takes who's on the other side of that. Nay Bong was the first person to really hear it and be like, yes. Quickly was supported by Peter Freelander. Bella loved it. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it was beloved. And I think that's also what you're experiencing, is that it is the partnership around that. It's a supported piece, and think about that in life. Think about who you are when you feel supported, when you feel resourced, when you feel loved. And so that energy is also in the work.
But I also want to give credit to you, Mara.
Okay, I do.
You talk about
my
it.
job as a leader.
I know.
I want people to know all of it.
Part of my job as a creative and an artist on the show, and also your friend,
let me be vulnerable.
is to. I know people get so freaked out when they hear compliments. I feel the same way.
Okay.
But you were the spark. You went to Judy. You were the one. She said, "Let me." And you've talked about this. Let me hand this over to this person. She's got 80, 90 years of experience in this world, wisdom in this world. And she said, no, I'm not going to give it to them. I'm going to give it to her. And I think that is such a, you know what I mean? And she's known this story since she was so young. This was a very powerful story in your youth. And so I just this whole is again, I don't want to act like it's a magical oracle kind of a thing, but there is something about this moment, because I've been a lot of powerful stories and a lot of powerful moments and a lot of things that have gone up and did. This is different. This is really, really different. There is a cultural zeitgeist that you have, you hold in your hands, and it's so powerful and important for you to hear that, know it, and I think for your audience to know it and to, because they're talking back to me in a very specific kind of way, in a very
We're
specific.
big on the call and response.
They are talking absolutely, and so yeah.
I had to cut it with a joke.
What a gift! What a gift! What a privilege! It's not just a privilege to tell this story with Mara, for you to tell this story, but to know that it is on this extraordinary platform. We get to usher it out into the world in the biggest way possible, and to talk about it and to recognize.
I want to thank you for that.
Yeah,
thank you. I receive it. And it's interesting because when I teared up, I was thinking about 12-year-old Mara, who read the book. I was reading Judy prior. You become a writer as a reader, by the way. And so Judy, her books are banned. And you think it's banned because she dared to tell the truth? That she dared to treat young people as human beings. She dared to say you have agency over your life. that's what she said in the books. That's what I was reading. That's what I consumed alongside my mother, my grandmother, my aunt, who were the foundation to that conversation. But she was the echo and then that's the cocoon you put around someone. What are the echoes around the foundation in which you're built upon? Judy did that. And what I didn't know was that when we were doing it, we're just trying to get it done. And then the destiny that the book is 50 years old this year. I didn't go into it, guys, we got to get it done so that
for the anniversary.
No, we just wanted to get the project done.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you look up and you're like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious that this is the 50th anniversary of this book? But that she dared to sit down first. And because she dared to write, and I really advocate for writing, whether you ever do it professionally or not, the power of it. But she dared to write, to sit in that chair, and she did it. And I got to devour her books. I got to read that book that we passed around. We were passing around. And it was not that, I remember I wasn't ready for sex at that time. I couldn't even have a boyfriend at that time. But I knew it was in my near future.
And you needed to learn about it.
And I needed someone to tell me before I got there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that I can make good choices. And that's what I really think, this show can do. I think it's also reflective of young people. They actually can make good choices. Most children are actually making good choices for themselves.
And I think they need that permission to explore it.
Yeah.
They need permission, which I think is what Judy gave us by allowing us to read about what it could, to spark our imagination about what it could feel like. And I also want to just say how that moment, that book being taken away, banned, and then put back, speaks to this moment that we are in right now. There is so much hostility out in the world to speaking truth. And how important it is for us to keep going. Say it anyway. Keep going in that direction. And
to find a way, as artists, this is where craftsmanship is important. Putting in the 10,000 hours, because a way that you can hear it and feel it. I think art, the difference, you can read the newspaper, you can listen to podcasts, and maybe that'll get you emotional. But art typically really takes it meets you at the soul level, and that's why you can feel. Even in comedy, I mean, you're feeling whatever the genre is. I think the craftsmanship of doing that, the art form itself, our ability to collaborate, to come together, is what I think is also being felt. I remember I was in editing, and I saw the last episode, and I wept because I was weeping for Justin and Keisha, but I was also weeping for us, that I remember feeling like I landed the plane, and everyone in the cabin of the plane were the actors and the crew, all these storytellers that gave so much of themselves into this project, and everybody's on that screen. Everybody is on that screen. Everybody's on that screen, and that's what you're seeing, is the collective nature of collaboration, of craftsmanship. People at the top of their game, bringing the best of themselves in this moment. And I think that's what I want to also advocate for, is we need more of that. We need more, as our industry is shifting, that as we're trying to find ways to make it faster, cut the cost, we can't cut, we actually need support of the craftsmanship so that you can have this level of impact in, it is, I feel like, I think this day, I don't know, what's today? I think this was today. Today we are 9 days into this show since it launched.
Crazy.
And what the emotion is coming back, it is really, and that speaks to that village of artisans who've come together, and that's what is so beautiful.
A diverse, group of artisans committing to one thing.
Yes.
One one story, one idea.
Yeah.
Intentionally, yeah.
And one really specific story. Like, it's not like you made this big global show that's trying to be everything to all people. It's
No.
about a really specific place. It's filmed in Los Angeles or
Yeah.
stuff, and
Yeah.
many things are. It's about specific music and what these kids like and how they text. Like, you really, you make the personal universal, which I think is
Yes.
what so much art wants to do, but
Yep.
people kind of lose the courage of their convictions to make it feel as specific as this does.
You know, it's funny. Every production meeting, every table read on set, remember we would say, hey guys, we are telling a love story, both epic and intimate, within a love letter to Los Angeles. I need you to go back and rescue your dreams, rescue your teenage years. Remember love. We talked about that intentionally all the time for not to lose our courage and our conviction. Reminding people why it was 2018. Please get these details right. Please get these details right. This is why we're here. It'll feel very close to 2024 while we're producing it, but it's not 2024. We don't have the same language. We don't have the same things. And so allowing us to go back there is also going to be felt on the screen. So we talked about that. I definitely did. I mean, I was always setting the table so we did not lose the courage of our
It
convictions.
was also the specificity of language, I think, that Mara did so beautifully in the story. It's a specificity of what the Black culture looks like, the language that we use amidst each other. A lot of phrases come back to me through the audience. Black Keisha? That one comes to me a lot. Black Keisha?
While you putting on
Do you know any other?
Do you know any white girls named Keisha?
While she's lotioning, because black people gonna put some lotion on.
You talking about Black Keisha? What are some of the other ones that I get? Blackity Black. I guess she's a black girl and the white girl in a suitcase or some shit. I don't know. These sorts of words, and they're like, heifer is another one.
That's a shout out to my grandmother.
Shout out to my grandmother too.
She called me heifer, and I miss being called a heifer.
Yeah, we don't use heifer any
because it was love.
Yeah.
I knew, just like Uncle Charlie reading, like, oh, Uncle Charlie's losing. No, that's love.
It's a kind of love.
It's a kind of love that is.
In this specificity
In the
of
specificity of
language, yes, in the specificity of Black language, you don't actually exclude. People actually lean forward.
They feel invited in.
They feel
Yeah.
invited. They feel like, oh, I'm peering into the window. It's okay for me to be here. And what a gift, do you know, to have a writer who is going to know that the more specific, the more intentional I am with the language, the more people are going to really see authenticity. They're going to see truth. I just think it's such a interesting idea, because a lot of times we feel like we have to dilute who we really are in order to get a bigger audience. But the truth
is be yourself.
Gotta
Isn't
be
that what
yourself.
Eric told?
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Be yourself.
Yeah.
It's something that Salim and I tell our children all the time. From even before they had language back to us. Just be yourself.
Yeah,
Be
what do you
yourself.
think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, what are your
What do you
thoughts?
think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to wrap this up, but I want to ask the big question, because you said that you want this to be an extended story. You know, it's based on one book, and the book ends in a specific place, but you've been very clear that you think there's a very big world to take with this. So, where do you want to take Forever? What can you tell us about how you think?
want to know. Season 2.
It's funny.
Season 2.
I am going to. Normally, I've been in therapy, and I've learned how to quell my people pleasing.
So that means she's not gonna tell you.
And I'm not. I feel like I am taking the privilege to sit with it. I know I have clear ideas. I have several points. The beauty of the story is that I can enter in wherever I want to. And because love, I think the way Justin and Keisha sort of really they showed us how you can actually break up and hold love. That you know that if they saw each other a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, love will be present. And so that allows me, us, because it's a collective, me, to enter in wherever I want to enter, because love still lives very palpable for them. And
what an extraordinary gift that is, Mara, because we get to, I think there's great maturity in the idea that I get to sit with this and deliberate and daydream.
And that is a luxury that I have not in my career, where there is always this idea of being Black in this business where you always have to prove yourself.
Let me hurry up.
Let me hurry up.
And get this.
Again, support.
Yeah.
For Netflix to say, hey, woo, they don't normally pick up shows this quickly. They usually wait for more analytics or more thought, but they already see the impact of it. And they want to also serve an audience that is literally putting their time. I mean, they're on third watches.
Fourth
it's only
watch.
9 days.
We're 9 days into it, guys.
And also their money.
Yeah.
There's a time where people have to be very discerning about where they're spending their money, and they want to serve. And so in that, I also want to take the privilege and the time. I can't take all the time, but I want to preserve that. Also, I think what's interesting about love stories is that you don't know where it's going to go. And if I give it to you up hand, then why tune in? You know, I feel like it's not an action, it's not a murder mystery, it's not all these other things that can hold. And I think what we know collectively as human beings, and certainly I want our young people to know, is that love is magical. And it can take you on a ride. And I think it can be the most adventure if we just sort of let ourselves go and surrender to it, even if it only carries us a little bit further on our journey. Right? We don't know if Justin and Keisha are going to make it to the altar, because I think we also think that. And even, how about this? The altar ain't the end either.
That's where Dawn's story comes in.
That's where Dawn and Eric's story starts.
I'm just kidding.
And so, anything can happen.
Anything.
And anything can impact love and relationship. All the other relationships around can impact that. So I'm going to hold on to that one, because I want people to tune in for season 2.
I also think it's an extraordinary gesture toward the other collaborators, the artists, and as an actor, I get to sit back and daydream about what Dawn could do. And that's an important time. Any artist will tell you that time to daydream about what's next for any character, any canvas that you're looking at where you know you're going to put some paint on it. It's an extraordinary gift, so I'm excited.
Yeah, it's also a time for me to listen.
Yeah.
I'm not guided by the audience, but I also just need to listen.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, it's a time to listen also. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the call and response is, the beauty of that. I had something to say that collected this beautiful group of artisans and storytellers. Then we had something to say. Now the audience needs to sit back, and now they've got something to say. And I think the best job is to listen right now, and that's also to my own voice.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm excited about that.
I'm excited.
Well, thank you both in the meantime for making this show. Congratulations on 9 great days since it launched.
Can you imagine?
Won't you do it? Judy!
Another
And it's
one.
funny, Dawn, she goes from one extreme to the next. She's like Unikitty. My kids call me Unikitty, for those who know.
Oh, I know. I'm very familiar.
Okay, yeah, look it up, kids.
Lego Movie 2 will explain a lot about it.
Exactly.
Okay.